Okay, dokie. In next step, what we are going to do is that we are making this continuous somehow. And let me just walk through how you can do this. For example, this is now integration, but this is not continuous integration since it doesn't runs automatically and it's not practical. So for example, we have code compile and we say whenever the code is compiled, code should be automatically reviewed. For that, we click here, we click on the configure and we go to the build step. In the build step trigger, we click on the build after other project or build. So very quickly, if I go through these options, so you can also trigger this build with help of remotely written script. Less common option, but it is there. So you can actually, if on your server some other thing happen and something depend on something, and you can write a script in your very customized way. There are billion of possibilities of that. If that thing happens, do this. So this is option number one. This is a lot of highly customized, from remotely build scripts. And those scripts can be virtually anything. And then actually the trigger if the build is stable. Okay. So this is the sub option of the build based on the other build. For example, I say when the code of compilation is built, I can write it here. So the compile, which is again a pipeline we have done here. So it says that if that is done, so then please automatically trigger this. We can say periodically. The periodically is just a cron job. You know about the cron job 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 or 6, I don't know. So this is the cron job, which means that trigger the job every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. This is minute. This is minute, hour, second, minute, second, hour, something. I now confuse it like you can write the cron job here, and it's gonna tell you that what do you mean. So you can come here, cron job guru, cron job guru. And it's gonna give you some tips that what do you mean by something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 star. Okay, it's 5 star. It's minute, hour, day, month, and week. So you can virtually select any combination. Here you can say that star, which means that every minute past hour after 4th hour. If the 4 hours are consumed or elapsed, try to run it every time. If I say star here, every single minute. If I say 30, it's 3. It every 3 minutes do this, right? I can run it any combination of this cron job, and this cron job's gonna work for me. And this is what periodically is doing, right? And let me just it is something very similar. So 5 stars, you can also give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can say here every 3 minutes or something like that. And it's gonna trigger, but you can only select one, right? If I select that, it doesn't gonna select. So this is just to show. Very famous option, very practical option, GitHub hooks, which you say that if something change on the GitHub, please run this job automatically. We're gonna do it shortly after some minutes, but first let's check the build trigger one after another project one. And we say when compile source is done, please trigger this code review. does that. And if there is any other thing, nothing, we can save this. We can save this now. This job is really kind of depend on the code review, and let us manually run the source code. And according to the system, the code review should automatically okay, great. Code review is automatically went to the queue. And now if I go to the code review, here you go, build number 6, 10 minutes ago, not 10 minutes, 1 minute ago, and all the warning and all the stuff which is configured in the review is there. That's how you make it automatically. Now, well, we save the code review, like primarily code check and mistake checks is done, then run test unit test, which depend on code review. And I would similarly just simply go to here and come to the build trigger, build after project, and the project is that when code review is done, code review is done, right? Well, when the code review is done, please do code coverage. Okay. Save. And then we save the when unit test is complete, please tell us that how much unit tests are run. So which means that this job's going to be build after project, which means that unit test testing code, cool, testing code, which is great. Testing code, and now it really depends on testing code, this code coverage. And we can say that if the code is tested, covered, and everything is done, then please package over pipeline. And now I can make this packaging depends on coverage, code coverage, which is that. So now everything is connected to each other with respect to the order. And then I guess now the only thing we need to start the hook point or trigger point. The trigger point was the code compilation automatic. So let us see what's happening here. Okay, the schedule is running, code review is automatically triggered. It should follow respectively. Testing code, great. Code after code basic review, it's gonna test. And after code testing, it should cover the code. Well, it's covering the code now automatically. And then it should technically package the code. And boom, everything is successful. And as you can see, that 2 minutes 70 40 whatever minutes it says, and we can see the build history or whatever history again. Great, which is cool. And if now very practically last hook which is needed is to hook somehow source code compilation. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here and configure this based on the trigger based on the automatic code push. So I say that whenever something happen, some new thing happen, or whatever set customization or setting I set on the GitHub, please if the code changes, I mean there are tons of option on the GitHub, and I can pretty much hook anything with this. Okay, now I need to go to my GitHub, and I need to try to find hook and hook it here. Okay, since I have just click on the compile source code that trigger, please trigger when something change here on the GitHub. I come to GitHub, go to setting. When I go to setting, I should see webhooks. Great. Add webhook. And I need to give it a password. I hate that part. Oh, cool. It does work basically. And payload URL. I can write something in the payload URL, which is actually the here I can say the JSON application secret. If you want to secret, just push event, send me everything. Let me decide the event, and if I click, I have a ton of option. You see here, if the branch is created, if the branch is protected, check runs, if the deployment, if the fork is happen, if the new issue comes up, if merges happen, if the pull request reviews submitted, edited, or dissubmits. So, and if the push, if new code is pushed in this is what we are going to check here. That if there is new code pushed into the repository right now, and repository is active based on these two options, please send me the URL. So what I can do is that my URL, which is practically a DNS, and normally, since we are working on the local machine, and in the local machine, the DNS or domain name server or whatever it is, it make sure that you end up with the forward slash or backslash. I don't know how you call it. And now I say that whatever I need to change in this repository, like whatever I push new into this, I can also just a push event here technically. Okay, I can also say that send me everything, which means that whatever changes into this webhook, please inform me. And now I can add this. There was error setting up hooker, URL not supported, isn't reachable over the public internet. Sad. Now this is the problem that I cannot really cover it here, but because we are working on the local host and the GitHub is already on public, and it's not working in the local setting, and GitHub says that we cannot know the local host right now, which means that we need some IP address. But if you are working this stuff on the cloud, actually, you could easily write here IP address or whatever. Or you need some port forwarding here, which I don't want to waste my time right now, but you get my point. If it would be a URL or DNS or any hosted website or on your cloud, and you know the public IP of the cloud, then the communication could easily be happen. And whatever you change here, for example, you come to the code and you change smallest thingy here, and in readme file might be, and in the readme file you change something and it's automatic if you commit it, right? And if you edit it, commit it, and it goes automatically to your Jenkins, and Jenkins first codes compile sources triggered automatically. And that's how your all build, what we have seen right now, are built subsequently turn by turn based on build trigger. That is pretty much for the continuous integration, and that's how it's done in the industry too. There's nothing more fancy than that. The only thing is that this is just a step, but in practical setting, you could even do anything like Python code, any compiled base code, non-compiled base code. For that, if you need to do a couple of settings, which means you need you should replace Maven with Python compiler, right? And that's how you compile the Python applications, and you install all the dependencies, which is great. And main step or the logic remains same, and rest everything remains same. The only thing would be changed is that your git source code is written in Python. And the second thing would change, that you need to install one plugin, as I have shown you how to install plugin, which is Python rather than Maven. Or might be that's pretty much language, because the good thing of Jenkins, that Jenkins is language ignorant, which means it could compile anything pretty much. So that was guys the overall continuous integration, and we are done with it now. Thank you very much for watching, and in next session I will come up with more practical options to how to build pipelines, and how to write pipelines, how to write infrastructure as a code with Ansible or with Terraforms, and these stuff. We'll cover shortly these stuff in the coming videos. Thank you very much. Bye.